ba. Oh, let me make sure. Hello everyone, I'm AD Swinger, also known as Corbidian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and today we're doing another session of 2D20, DUNE, Silvanus, Agrestis, and Salutaris, and we are looking to the second month of House Bellezza's existence in the current story. But first, a bit of update on the current affairs system. The punitive war against the cult of the Redeemer Inquisition, waged by House Bellezza with the aid of the Silvani tribes and House Arconis, culminated in the decisive seizure of a defunct orbital over the moon Agrestis, which had served as the cult's headquarters. Although uprisings and riots erupted on Silvanus, combined efforts of House Arconis and the Silvani tribes swiftly subdued the rioters, restoring order to the troubled planet. House Bellezza successfully thwarted the cult's leadership's plan to escape the Silvanus system aboard a Highliner, neutralizing or capturing any cult spaceships within the system. This left the cult of the Redeemer's leadership scattered, shattered, without a central stronghold. However, a dark revelation emerged amidst the victory. False Graf Sebastiano Fraioli, husband to the ruler of House Bellezza, was implicated in a conspiracy, casting a shadow over the triumph and suggesting deeper treacheries within the heart of the conflict. The air of treachery within House Bellezza, frequently besieged by the clandestine operations of the cult of the Redeemer, was temporarily dispelled by their decisive victory. However, the scars of the conflict were not solely left by the bodies of the fallen troops, but by the lingering questions of how the cult had so thoroughly infiltrated not only House Bellezza, all the houses of Silvanus. A nascent faction, such as the cult, could not have achieved such deep infiltration alone. Likely they were left to be destroyed by their masters, who sought to hide the true extent of their goals and connection. The unanswered questions and the shadows of betrayal suggest there are more insidious forces at play, leaving the inhabitants of Silvanus wary and vigilant against the unseen hands manipulating their fate. And none of this is true. Blinks. Ah, here. So I present the ruler of the house as you meet for conclave and to decide future of House Bellezza for the coming month. Your ruler is busy and is engaged in matters that pull them away from the management of the house, but any good house is lifted up not merely by its ruler, but by the architects that assign its seat. That puts it into the hands of Moonshadow, Kabata, and Anna.
Hey, Kabata.
Yeah.
In the treasurer's ledger, the amount of resources we pull in every management session is incorrect. It should be 19 instead of 16.
I'll correct that.
Ah, there we are.
Or 19 per month.
Yep.
Where's our house shoot? Oh, there it is.
Under
That's
PCs.
better. Yeah, I just glanced by it because I saw for some reason, the Treasurer's Ledger and the House Bellezza sheet just kind
Blurred
of.
together.
Yeah,
I
that's the
get you.
phrase I was looking for. Thank you.
Now, some rumors and news from the Imperium. Some of these may be true, some of these may be false, or perhaps it's just misleading. But these are things that the wider Imperium is aware of, thus you are aware of. Heir to House Carino. It is rumored that a new heir has been born to House Carino, potentially shifting the line of succession and causing ripples throughout the noble houses. Some whisper that the child is the result of an illicit affair, which could have serious implications for the house's stability. Fair cover-up. Rumors suggest that one of the ladies of House Hagal is involved in a scandalous affair with a servant. Although the couple was planning to elope, word got out, and now they are being more cautious. This scandal could affect the house's reputation and internal dynamic. Cult of the Redeemer Inquisition. The Imperium is abuzz with the recent punitive war against the Cult of the Redeemer Inquisition. House Bellezza, with the aid of the Silvanus tribes and House Arconis, has taken significant action to dismantle the cult. The seizure of the defunct Orbital HQ and the suppression of uprisings on Silvanus have been noted as major victories, though there are whispers about the extent of Bellezza's involvement in the conflict's origins. Suspicion of ambition. While House Bellezza has garnered some praise for their decisive action against the cult, there are suspicions about their true motives. Some believe they orchestrated certain events to bolster their reputation and consolidate power.
Calmany, I say.
This has led to mixed opinions within the Landsraad about their integrity and intention.
Poppycock.
Spice harvest shortage. Reports indicate that spice harvests on Arrakis have been steadily dropping. Whether this is due to poor management or an impending shortage is unclear. It has sparked concern across the Imperium about potential economic impacts and power struggle.
Stupid Harkonnens.
Master on Arrakis. The Bene Talax have reportedly sent a master to Arrakis, possibly related to the spice. Believe they have brought face dancers with them, raising concerns about espionage and their true. Any other news or rumors you wish to float out into the ether, which may become true? Maybe you're right, or maybe it's just muddying the water.
I gave one last time. Anyone else has one?
Sure. Let's see if I can't complicate my life some. Rumor has it that the Mother Superior has sent a delegation to the Silvanus system in the wake of the recent happenings to consult with the sisterhood present in the system.
Also, House Valorian. Amidst rumors of recent spice shortages, House Valorian has been, by some, falsely accused, or rightfully accused, of hoarding spice and thus manipulating the market in their own favor, for purposes of later resale.
Any rumors the Marshal wishes to cook up into the ether? Which may or may not be true.
I think I'll pass for this week.
Good. We shall see how true those other extra rumors. So, next phase is income. So you gain your new amount of monies from your primary and secondary domain. You've pre-calculated with those.
Yeah.
So we have we gain a wealth of 60, right? We had a wealth of 31 from before, so we're on 91 now. And we got 4 resources in the bank from previous actions, and 19 gained on this turn, which equals out to 25. Further resources are I gained +7 due to my actions from last time, so we are currently on 98 wealth.
Ruby.
There you go.
Right. See if any events occur during this month. Hi, Master, could you roll a d20 for me?
Boy, I've been rolling since Tuesday. It's not gonna be good. 4.
Or an opportunity. Roll another d20.
Ruby. Mhm.
Land rush. Land near the house's territories is up for grabs. Perhaps a neighboring house has had to withdraw, or maybe once inaccessible, but now the player character's house has the means to claim it. Are not the only but claimant. I would think or power map here.
Is it an unlimited power map?
I will say that there is a bit more. That land rush is happening more orbitally. So in the orbits between the 2 moons and Silvanus. Normally, this would mark like that would just mark the open space. But these are it's now been discovered that there is stable orbital paths where orbital structures could be built. So there is 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 extra orbital areas that can be claimed, which easily can be claimed by any of the houses. It's just a matter of like certain navigator. I imagine it would come along in the form of like the Spacing Guild saying, "Hey, we did some calculations, and it shows that there is actually more orbital space than otherwise expect. There are stable orbital places to put it." So no one's claimed it yet because it's only just been found out. Like you learned this the same time everyone else does.
So claiming it, would that be a venture?
I believe so. I'm gonna
Yeah, I mean that's where you usually grab a.
claim domain. Yeah, as a venture.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would be more domain facility. Because domain is when you have X.
Oh, that's true.
number
Yeah,
of
yeah.
act- yeah.
Domain facility. Yeah. So upkeep. Pay for stuff.
All right, give me some numbers.
Well, you need to figure out what your military power is going to be.
Yeah, on the bio info of the House Bellezza sheet, we have what we did last time, which wound up being a total of 59 if we want to keep everything the same.
Okay, that's first. Do we want to discuss paychecks now, or is that later?
No, that's part of this too.
That's part of it. Last time we spent 9. Let me see if I have noted who was getting what. Okay, the consort was 2.
He's not getting paid this month. He's in the brig.
No.
Oh, Lady Galia is the consort. Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
Let me break my calculator out. Hang on.
Also consider you have a new War Master that the ruler pulled in, the cultist.
Okay, so we're at 98. Let's say we want to keep paying the consort -2. How much for the swordmaster?
The War Master is 5.
Oh,
Swordmaster
War Master's fine.
is 5 as well.
Do we want to pay them both? I think we do, right?
I'm trying to figure out how we got to 9 for total salaries last time.
Because a lot of us gave it up.
So I have like Consort 2, and then I have Swordmaster 5s. That's only 7. Did we pay one other role to wealth?
Marshall.
Okay, so Marshall took. Okay, yes, that's right. Marshall took salary, so that's it.
Yeah, I did.
So yeah, we've got an NPC Swordmaster. We've got an NPC Warmaster, the Consort, and the Marshal.
Okay, I took away 10 for the War Master and the Sword Master. Let's assume that we're paying them both for now. How much for the Reverend Mother's paycheck?
I probably am going to waive it because mine's pretty damn expensive. It winds up being 10.
Really?
Yeah, 5 for Spy Master and 5 for Benny Gesserit trained.
Whew. Okay, let's assume then, we'll come back to you then. Let's assume 2 for the Marshal. So that. My paycheck should also be 5, if I recall correctly?
Yep. And tap.
Okay. So,
Oh, because you're a
currently
treasure,
we have...
rather, I should say.
Yeah. Currently we have 79 left over without doing any of the, whatchamacallits.
Right.
Other spendings. I think we can afford your paycheck too.
Consort is 2, and then... Sorry, I'm catching up.
So we're on 98. Consort 2, 10 for Swordmaster and Warmaster,
And
5
for
for
treasure.
myself, and 2 for Millie.
And that leaves us with 78?
79. 79.
Okay.
And then let's assume that we want to keep everything. How much did you say it was? To keep everything as it was.
50. Not counting the salaries, it would be 50.
Yep.
Right. We got 29 left. I sincerely think we can afford to pay you out fully as well.
Well, keep in mind that if we want to do a boon venture, that costs wealth. So maybe we look ahead to those and see if there's anything we might want to spend money on.
Such as?
The boon ventures start on 110 in the Lansrad book.
Let me get that open.
Yeah, they're a variety, which it'll be easier than me trying to list them all. And I'm not necessarily saying we want to. I just know that these are the ones that cost wealth. So if there's something there we need to do, we need to budget for it. These also, if we're successful, it ups our status number. For a successful boon, grants +1 status.
Also note your status jumped up by 10 because you defeated a house.
Cool.
Because you shattered the Redeemer Inquisition. They still exist, but they've dropped by 10 status because they basically had their headquarters destroyed. Or captured, rather.
Oh, do we have a status space in our sheet? No.
I have it in bioinfo. I just put it. So you guys are still respected. You haven't gone to the next tier yet.
Status 35. Okay, I see it. It's in that gray text. I'm going to make that black so I can see it easier. Yeah, that's better.
Let me get this straight. A boon venture would also include capturing this or laying claim to this new territory, or is that for free?
That's a different venture. Boon ventures are that's your wheeling, dealing, making alliances kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I'm looking at it and it's like gain territory, which is a lot of money.
No, that's different. That's a
That's for an
different
entire
venture.
planet?
No, you're in the wrong section.
There's construction ventures and boon ventures.
Yeah, boon ventures start on 110.
Right. No, I'm just looking at gain territory. Is that for an entire planet?
Well, it would either be like domain facility to claim a bit, or it would be potentially, depending on what the GM says, expand land. But
Oh, there it is. So yeah, gain territory is for claiming an entire planet or moon. So you'd have to find it, because every planet currently charted is recorded in the Farfetch'd system at Kaitan. You find a whole new world. You can, as you can see, for a lot of money and a lot of wheeling and dealing, you can try to convince the House Carino to let you lay claim to it.
Yeah, and there's also above the page before like a fun discovery, which is where you pay for the guild to, when they find something, let you know first.
Yep.
Sorry, I was not realizing those were down in the boons. Based upon the news and rumors, it trade. There's not really anything that gives us any leverage or bonuses in the land thread or the court, are there?
Not that I can see. Perhaps only if we spend 20 to establish a reputation.
I was just trying to figure out there's something, because we're coming up in their attention, and it would be nice to kind of, if there was something we could do to kind of create favor there, but I'm not really seeing anything.
An undocumented version of it, I would think, would be something like, you see how there's like Bene Gesserit Alliance or Guild Alliance?
Yeah.
Well, for one, you could establish those alliances with those factions, because that means, because they do have voice and influence on Kaitan, but you might establish an alliance with for the same wealth and success, because it's the same idea. It's 10 wealth for success. You could try to make an alliance of some sort with a house. I would suggest a major house.
Right.
That might back you on Kaitan. And it could be a house even here among your fellows here, because you guys don't have any firm alliance. Like, even the only reason that Malvola stayed out of it was because that one action was because he was asked to, and it really wasn't much sweat off his back anyway. He would do nothing. Purge out some people I don't like anyway, and you're not really fond of. And
right.
If I go to war with them, stay out of it. Okay, I don't have to do anything. If you lose, I win. If you win, I still win. But alliance is a lot more makes it a lot easier for you to talk to them upcoming month.
Yeah, because the whole suspicion of ambition can be dangerous, I think. But
I think so far we're safe, as in, we didn't maybe get so much attention as you might think, but further actions may undermine it. I think we're okay for now.
Okay. Marshall, are you seeing anything that we might want to spend money on in the Boon Ventures?
Boon Ventures.
Yeah, the other ones cost resources, but since we're trying to budget wealth currently.
Yeah. Might book to open. There we go.
I'd say we definitely take the Chom agreement.
Yeah.
That's 5 now for 10 later.
10 well, thanks, South Management System. That's true. Is that going to screw with your ambition, though?
No, my ambition is to expose their dirty work. Doesn't mean we don't get to trade with them.
Okay.
I think it's okay. We could also take either alliance with the Spacing Guild or something else that costs 10.
Like the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
Or favor. That's another thing to look at.
No.
Is wait, where's the Bene Gesserit alliance? Yeah, favor or alliance honestly worked for me. Although favor is just a one-time thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it only lasts till the next house deal, whichever one.
Yeah, but I definitely
yeah.
think that we should take the Chom agreement, like 100%. There's no reason not to take it.
Okay. So we want to make sure we have 5 wealth left to do that.
Right, of
Which
course.
would put us to
24.
Also, I'll highlight improved skills as something. Those are all expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Scroll.
We don't have any farming, right?
Yes, we do.
We have one
We
farm.
do.
Yeah, that's which is one thing I know Erica wants is to expand there.
We
so
could provide humanitarian aid.
Well, we only get 2 ventures. So, but I know that part of Erica's plan is to expand our production and control over sap, the farming. So that would be a construction venture for another domain facility to expand our farm, if I'm reading that right, GM.
Might be an expand land venture.
Of course, let's get into resources. It's not going to cut into the wealth number, but we only have 2 ventures we can do. So we might want to do 1 construction and 1 boon. So expand the farm and then the chome.
Yeah. Oh, and we have to pay the ruler out as well, right?
No. No, I don't think ruler and heirs get salary.
Yeah, they cost 2. That shows that they have extra spending money on them.
Oh, right.
Do we want to give the ruler and heir their salaries? I think the heir is fine without one. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it all depends on if we want to throw any in the bank for next time. As far as what we do now, like, okay.
I definitely think we should pay you because you could do a lot with those 10 resources.
I think it breaks down to only like 1 resource in play, though.
You get 1 advantage of being of wealth.
Right. So basically, I can buy information a lot easier.
Which I'll highlight Moonshadow didn't use in the last month, just to give you an idea.
Right.
True.
Can be used, but it isn't always used. But it's one of those. It's a free asset you just get. Well, free. It's an asset that sits in your. It's a bonus asset you have in your pocket.
Right.
Money. Because because wealth asset is a silly amount of wealth. Because everyone's expected to have some money. If you have a wealth asset, it's like no, I have a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see myself leveraging that for intel ops. So that would bring us to
14.
14. And the ruler is what, 2?
Yep.
2, yeah.
That seems low for a ruler.
That's because they benefit from being the head of a house. They already have a bunch of cool stuff.
Well, I suppose.
Here's some extra spending money. Okay, a couple thousand will be.
I wish I could do that. What's extra spending money? A couple thousand, that'll do.
I think we can afford to pay Winchester's character as well in this case. So that'll bring us down to 12.
And we just bank 12, maybe?
You don't... did we pay you in the end? Yes, we did.
Yep.
Right, yeah. I think we can bank 12. It's less than we banked last time, but we're gonna get more back next time because of the Chom agreements, if my math is right.
Right. We'll get what do we have in the bank? 20?
Currently, no, wait, we had like 30 something in the bank.
Okay, so if we save 12 and we get an extra 10 from the
We'll be up
No.
by 20, so
22,
next
yeah.
time we come around. Unless we do more actions like I did that, bring
Right.
up our wealth.
I don't know, that works for me. What do you think, Marshall?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay, well, the math checks out. Everyone who got paid, write down that you got paid.
Yep.
Write down that I got paid too.
I guess I'll put that under assets. Was that just so this is wealth asset or something?
Yeah, wealth asset. Keywords, Solari.
Quality?
Quality 0, because it's just money. It's not like you can have higher quality money. Oh, sorry, higher quality money is also known as spice.
What? Solari, influential.
Solari, influential.
Maybe. Well, Solari kind of liquid because it's something. It's not like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will note that class until next house management.
Which you either have in like actual like cash in coin in your pocket or in a pouch,
Right.
or it's in an account, like whatever it is, you have ready access.
Right. Yeah, I don't have to. It's not in stocks and bonds or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So, then you're at keep. Your lifestyle, your house skills. All right. Now you have to think of ventures. You have 2 ventures. You can have additional ventures for 10 wealth.
Ooh.
And if you don't use a venture that you have banked, then you get +3 wealth at the end of the session. You're not doing stuff, you're just collecting money.
Right,
Well,
well, we definitely said we wanted the Chom agreement, right?
Yeah. Well, and we need to remember too that we can convert resources into wealth, particularly since you have a spaceport. So if we decide we want to buy another one, we can convert some resources because we're not going to spend terribly much of those.
Just remember, converting
think.
is a venture in itself.
That's right.
Therein lies the problem. How many ventures are we capped on purchasing, though?
Well, he just was pointing out the option.
Yeah, no, but how are we capped on purchasing ventures?
No, if you want to spend like 30 wealth, you get 3 extra ventures because you're spending a silly amount of money.
And what's the conversion rate for the resources?
3 to 1 resource for 3 wealth.
Hey, that's not too bad. Look,
Yeah.
if we just want to expand and bank the rest in, so either we start next time with more, or we get more ventures, that'd be grand.
How much? There's the ledger. We got 4 resources banked. And we've got 19 resources. So to get 10, we would need to spend what, 2.5? Something like that. Resources.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's rounded up or down, but here's maybe what I was thinking we could maybe do with the resources. There's a little venture called Festival. It acts as a pre-obtain information to find out about the state of the people or enemy spy movements. If you're really concerned about House Carino, we can throw a festival together and see if they've sent anyone here to keep an eye on us. And then, accordingly, we can take steps to, avoid unnecessary consequences.
So if we wanted to do 2 construction ventures and 1 the boon venture, the Chome deal, then we would need to spend 20 wealth, because the act of conversion is a venture in and of itself, which would leave us with 1, and so we need to spend 20 to buy 2.
Okay. One step at a time. How much resources? Let's choose that first. Let's convert some resources into wealth. Okay. How much
Right.
resources are we willing to convert?
We have 19. We know we're going to want to spend 5 to do a new domain facility. So that brings us to, well, we also have 4 in the bank, so that brings us to 18. Now.
Yeah, we have 25 resources overall.
Right. So we know we're going to do domain facility, which is 5. So
we got 20 left.
Right. So Chome thing costs wealth.
Yes.
So those are 2 ventures we want. So if we use the convert venture to get some more wealth, we're going to need to.
Mind you, I've already deducted the Chome out of our wealth as if we've already done it. So the 12 is with it.
Yeah, the issue isn't the money, it's that the act of converting resources to wealth costs a venture. So we start with 2 ventures, so when you use one of those to convert, then you've only got 1 venture left. So then you've got to figure out how many other ventures you want to do to know how much you want to convert with that first venture.
Plans within plans within plans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay, here's, we know we want to do the Chome agreement, that's 1. We know we want to do the domain facility, that's 2. Do we want to buy a 3rd and claim some of the orbitals that have come up, or one of the orbitals? Also, it's worth considering that we have. GM, what is the status of the orbital facility over Agrestis that we now possess or have captured? I mean, does that already count as being now part of our holdings, or what's the deal?
It basically counts in a warfare sense as a fortification. Like it's a fortified area, but it isn't producing anything. It's not populated with workers of any kind. It's just a place soldiers are based out of.
Okay, so we have that, so we could make a facility out of it.
Yep. Because normally, like say, like some of those orbital areas, you would have to. Oh wait, no. I was gonna say expand land, but that's when you're.
That's where you're like clearing fields and stuff.
Yeah, if you're trying to like demolish that orbital to build a whole, yeah, it's like I don't want it to be a military base. I want it to be something completely different. Then you expand land to.
Right. So, but that.
But if you do a domain facility in the spaces I said as part of the land rush, it's like that's already been expanded. That's because it's space. So it's like build. Whoever builds there has it.
And for the orbital, we could either make it some sort of facility, or we could do a military development. It's already technically a military base, a military development venture to do one of those things that's under military development.
Are we facing any potential military threats in the near future? I know the cult was there and is an active threat, but are we expecting anyone to like try and take that from us by force?
Well, no, not necessarily, but I mean the key thing about that is that it's in orbit over Malvolus's domains. It's in orbit over Malvolus's moons, so it's kind of a strategic asset. Because we have hints that Malvolus is no longer oh God, what's the word? Anyway, its patron is no longer a cause, and part of what I'm wanting to do moving forward is figuring out who their new patron is. And it worst comes to worst, their new patron is Moritani, which of course is currently at war with a cause, and then we've kind of got an enemy force in our midst because all the rest of us are what is the word I'm looking for? Clients of a cause.
Right, but how does a military development on the orbital station help us with finding out information?
Well, I'm just saying, just because of its location, it's strategic. So holding it and being able to hold on to it in the face of a potential attack might be handy. Because we've got something in Malvolus's sky currently.
Okay. In
but-
my humble opinion, we shouldn't antagonize Malvolus as much as we want to.
Well, I mean, but like
we're
military.
setting up good relations with them somewhat.
Well, we haven't really started yet, remember, because that was the point he made, was that the only reason they stayed out of the war was because it kind of suited their purposes. So, I mean, they're a real question mark right now. And like, as far as like developing as a military thing, it doesn't have to be anything super offensive. It's literally like you could install a shield. So
That's expensive.
well, no, it's just the same. It's the same venture. Cost 10 resources, and you have to make a roll with success 3.
Yeah, 10's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not resource poor currently. Or we could, garrison it for 8 resources and 1 success. I mean, there are different things you could do. Make a shuttle platform, vehicle bay. It's just an option since we've got that in their sky and it is already apparently fortified. It might be worth thinking about. I mean, it's a valuable strategic resource for our house, is all I'm saying.
I'm not fully convinced, but alright, I guess that's fine.
Well, no, and I'm just saying that's something we can do. Another option is to spend 5 and make it some sort of facility. So, it could be an industrial facility, I guess. Maybe it's our university or whatever we decide we want to make it. Or it's 10 again. It might be interesting to turn it into an orbital spaceport. I mean, maybe that's a way we could make more money. I don't know. So I was just pointing out that besides the newly discovered areas that can be claimed and developed, we also have this orbital in our back pocket that we might want to do something with.
Right, okay. How about we just take do the resources first, and then we can, once we have the thing, we can actually decide what we want.
Okay, so how many, we know we're going to have to buy at least 1. So there's 10 resources, 10 wealth we need. Do we want to buy more than... Well, yeah, we need to buy at least 2, otherwise there's no point in converting it because we already get 2 naturally. So we know we want to do the CHOAM agreement, we know we want to do a domain facility. What's the third thing that we want to do that we're going to convert money for?
Well, I guess putting a... Well, no, I was thinking about the festival, but I think that's... I don't know. It's nice, but not completely 100% necessary.
Well, I mean, as Spy Master, of course, I like it because... Well,
I
and
like
again,
it due to fluff reasons because, we've just gone through a very shocking state of events, and, the people need something to get distracted by.
Yeah.
Well, and I like it. Keep in mind that I've got hyper awareness, so if I ask a question about the state of the people and any current enemy espionage at the festival, I get 4 questions for that one.
Oh man! All right.
So I mean, it can be extraordinarily useful and informative. So that orbital, is it already have the fortified whatever? GM?
So it has essentially it is an orbital facility with a military.
Okay.
So you can put something else in there. You can also develop the base itself.
Right.
Right now, it doesn't really have any military developments other than it's an orbital base because they were
Okay.
trying to. You guys kind of snuffed them out, before they could
Right.
develop the base.
So basically, they had taken it and they had done a military base venture.
Yep. And then they got
okay.
Then they got attacked. And it's like,
Cool.
well, shoot.
Okay. So okay, we could. The festival could be a third, or we could use two to. We could do two domain facilities, one in the new orbital places and one on the planet for the farm.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine too. Honestly, I don't see anything bad with it.
So how many resources we got? We're at 20 resources currently.
Currently, if we're looking to do the land grab, yes.
Right.
Mm.
The land grab. That's the. Oh, right. That's to expand the farm. Okay, that's perfect then. So if we were going to, we need to. Sources. Where's my calculator? We converted 10 resources. We could have 30 wealth, which would let us do. Oh, no, wait, the facilities and stuff. Oh, which would let us do two
Any
extra.
Jesuit alliance, perhaps.
Well, I'm just thinking. So we're definitely doing the Chome. So that's
Yeah.
one. We're definitely going to buy to do a domain facility, and then if we do 30, though, we could get an extra one, and we could do a total of 3 after the conversion. So we could do Chome Alliance or Chome Agreement, whatever it is, and facility to grab. Expand the planet and grab one of the new orbitals.
That sounds good, actually. Yeah.
Okay,
can
we
do that.
still have 10 resources left after that.
We can put those in the bank.
So you decided what ventures you're going to work on?
Yes,
Yes.
we think.
So first things first, we're gonna convert.
Okay, there's no roll for conversion. It's the only venture you don't do it. It's a matter of going to the palace or sending not even going there yourself. You just send a letter to the Chome office at the capital and say, "Hey, we're selling this much of our resources. Give us money." And they're like, "Okay, we buy." They buy it off of you, and they go off to sell it off somewhere else.
Right.
We want to
Okay.
do the Chome venture? Chome agreement, sorry.
Sure. Scroll.
Page 110.
Yeah. Who's our best communicator?
It should be me, with the
Cool.
absence of our dear leader.
Mm.
Yeah. Go for it.
So, roleplay wise, far ahead of me. Question I have: You're gonna attempt to do a Chome agreement, or establish a Chome agreement. Where are you negotiating? Where do you go to negotiate with them? Because there would be a representative in each of the capitals, and of course at the ultimate Chome headquarters, all the way in I-10.
I think the one on Palace Silvanus. There's one in Palace Silvanus, right?
Yep.
I think that one should serve. If not, I can make the trip over to Kaitan.
It can serve. I'm seeing how much of an effort, how much of an inconvenience you're putting yourself at to speak with them.
No, the one here at Palace Silvanus should be a-okay.
Going to the Palace Silvanus city, I would say to you that you would notice that it is a flurry of activity here. There are lots of different going, lots of off-worlders who are coming and going. And when you go into the Chome part of the town, city rather, you notice that there is a bit of a mad dash to buy up spice, to try to short spice, because it's going down. So people think it's going to keep going down. Some people are trying to bet that it's going to go the other way. It's going to spike up any day now. This is like month 2 of rumors that spice production's down. By the time you as a treasurer of a house are able to get a meeting with Chome director, not Chome director, that's two, Chome executive. When you try to better the market price on, I imagine you wouldn't necessarily be bettering your deal with Highliner stuff, because that's kind of a set deal. That's a space guild.
We also promised a discount on highliners in the future.
So probably more along the lines of your art pieces, or maybe what little bit of food that you guys are making.
Yeah, I think I could try maybe sell our food as, like, we don't have a lot of it, but it is very quality. Have you seen the other things we make?
Aren't we doing sap as well? Yeah, we're doing tree sap currently, aren't we?
I thought it was a farm. Food, so you guys could not starve last month. Because remember, there was a food shortage.
Yeah, I
Right.
thought the conversation was we were doing it as sap because it could be converted quickly. I don't know. I left thinking that we sold the sap and bought food. I don't know.
No, I have it marked as a food square, and that you guys could convert to sap later.
Let's try and sell up the art pieces then, just to be on the safer side, I guess. We don't want to starve.
I will increase your complication by 1. That's new. You guys didn't do food before.
Thompson a 19. It's a communicate roll, right?
Yep.
Can I use communicate truth?
Numbers don't lie. As you actually calculate, here's the best way to make the most the most money for Chome, but also a fair enough profit share with you. Yeah, I follow it.
Yep. Alrighty. Focus on charm or persuasion?
I'd say persuasion here, given that you're leaning on numbers a bit.
Okay, here's 3 threat for 2 more dice. One comp? Yeah, 1 comp.
Difficulty was 2, so you did generate 3 momentum. Do you want a complication to arise, or do you wish to just give me 2 threat?
We'll quash that one. Don't want to mess with this, because this is pretty important for the future. Otherwise, I'd take it.
2 threat to me. Yeah, you're able to come up with an agreement, and after maybe some level of intimidation, maybe a certain way of wording things, you try to make sure that word doesn't get out too far that you're starting to expand into farming. You realize that may sound like to a forensic accountant that perhaps House Bellezza is moving into developing a farming domain. Right now, you just have a farm, which some people like having farms just to be a gentleman farmer and mess around with it. Or you're out to increase your power. So no one's really seeing the increased power part of the game currently. But hey, at the end of the day, you're going to be seeing 10 more wealth next month. That's always nice.
So I'll write that down. Plus 10 for month 30. Alright, that's done.
So that's your 2 ventures. You're buying more.
So the next one will be, the next two are going to be domain facilities.
What kind of facility you build?
In the new orbital spaces, probably we're just going to, do our industrial, or the factory for space frames, spacecraft. Our usual stuff. We're just kind of expanding that.
Okay. Who's going up there to oversee the build?
Who has good discipline? Oh wait, what's industry? Yeah, discipline.
Factories are discipline.
I've got a 6.
I also have 6.
I've got a 5, so no go on me.
Yes. One or the other of us. You can do one and I can do the other because farms are also
Sure.
disciplined.
That works. Maybe put me with firms, because I imagine, having grown up on the planet, I might have a
Okay.
background that gives me
Yeah,
an
and
advantage.
let's definitely make this farm expansion orchards for sap.
Cool.
Or just a suggestion, we could make it actually more food farmland, so that we're self-sustaining and we can export. We can do sap once we're practically self-sustaining, where a catastrophe can actually affect us.
Oh, actually, I have to wind you back a second. You have to make a new farm in the forest. You'd have to do the expand land action. The only reason you guys didn't have to do it last time was because your ruler had land rights already, so there already was land for her to develop. She's used that now, unless you're developing that land even further. You're overdeveloping the area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking expand land as a venture.
Yeah, so you can do the expand land and I'll do the domain facility in orbit.
Sure.
So yeah, I guess Joanna will go to oversee the construction of the new orbital space yard or whatever it is.
Which one? So you want to do that first?
Sure.
So you're developing a more building yards.
Yep.
You oversee it. Bit of resources get blown up into orbit. I am gonna spend 2 threat to up the difficulty by 1. As normally would be 1 success, but it's now a 2 success task because certain nobles of Agrestis are being a bit obnoxious about it. It's not technically illegal, but it's also one of those, you don't want them to cause trouble, because then it turns into this whole thing at Palace Silvanus. So it's a lot of making sure that they're not mad. Don't move a ship any closer than this arbitrary line in space. That sort of thing.
Right.
We have certain building codes on over our planet. It's like, oh, fine. It's not. It's just extra paperwork that they're kind of throwing at you. Whether it's just or not, it's there all the same. Discipline roll, difficulty 2.
I want to say discipline duty.
Mm-hmm. I'd follow. I don't think you're
Would other memory kick in here? Considering that Bellezza has been building orbital stations forever.
Roll me a challenge die.
D6, you mean?
Yeah.
Do we have challenge die in this game? I can't remember. 4.
Oh wait, that's right. No challenge dice in this version of. So,
Yeah.
I'll think about it more then. So that's not a thing. It's usually. I'm torn. Well, okay. Now you guys have been here since founding. You're one of the founding house. I'll say other memory applies because this is your primary domain. So House Bellezza has always been known.
Okay.
It's been known for doing it for a long time.
Okay, so there's 3 automatic successes, so I'm just going to roll flat. of my discipline focuses come in. Ha! There's a comp, but a total of 4 successes.
Generate 2 momentum. Want to
And
quash
I'll-
that? Do you want to give me
Yeah.
2 threat or suffer the bad thing?
I'll give you 2 threat. You spent 2 to up it, so just give it back to you. Then I pulled out other memory on you, so fair's fair.
As you, the militarily fortify, as a factory seems to have some military base components to it, which when you go around, it's a lot of your builders are a little confused sometimes when they look around.
No. This is not the orbital station we've captured. This is one of the newly discovered orbital paths.
Hey. Sorry, I had that completely backwards then. My bad. Which space? Because I kind of placed you right there over that, so right next to it.
I tell you what, let's do like there.
There?
Yeah, because that way it's kind of like, okay, you guys have these spaces, and we can have these spaces. So, because we can't really afford to grab more than one, so we're kind of staking out. We're going to be over here. Maybe you guys can go over there. Honestly, the other thing we could do with that captured orbital is use it as a negotiating tool with Malvolus.
That, or we scrap it. No.
Well, I think we get something out of it. If it's not a strategic point, then what we use it for negotiations to, give it over into their control. The negotiation being, we'll give it up, or we can stay there, or let's make a deal. I think it'd be worth. I think it'd be worth something to them to get rid of us in their orbit.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you oversee the building of an orbital, which thankfully it's tried and true techniques.
Yep.
It's in a sort of centralized orbit that's floating a bit further away from Salutaris than normal, because it's being pulled a little bit by Silvanus, but it's at this nice, precarious point that allows for it to operate just fine. It looks like there's a bit of hesitation. I suppose the complication here with that space is less Agrestis giving you trouble and more your engineers being a little spooked by the fact that it's like, that looks really close to Silvanus. You sure this works? Yeah, I'm sure. I should probably double check the math to make sure they're right. They're the Spacing Guild. They're probably correct.
Right.
I'd really like to double check though, because I'd hate to build this thing and have it crash into us or Silvanus.
It's sort of a Lagrange thing. It's fine.
But it's so far away. It's not as far as you think.
What are the other stable orbits? There's Lagrange and there's something else. Anybody know?
Couldn't tell you. I only think of Lagrange points. I think of abnormal high orbits. And then we had the Marshal going out to clear some land out in the wood.
Yes.
I'm gonna up. It's a discipline roll. I think it's only 1 norm. Yep, it's normal. It costs 6 resource, but this one I'm gonna up the difficulty by 1, because you find that you'll have to. You're not just clearing out like an area to build a farm or build some facilities, but you're also having to clear out people who are not necessarily of the tribes who are hiding out, criminals and exiles and stuff who try to hide in the deep wood to capture. So
Gotcha.
It's a lot of spooking them out so they don't just start crawling. They don't just squat right where you are.
I'll use DD as a drive. If that works.
I don't see your statement disagreeing with it, so.
Cool. And what's the difficulty again?
Currently 2.
I'm gonna buy 2 more dice with momentum.
Some. You hit it and gained 1.
Nice.
You're able to clear some of the forest and lay claim to it by that clearing. Little pennants and little just to let people cleared by Bellezza. What do you do with these exiles and refugees and criminals who are hiding out in the woods?
I will offer them, like, if they're wanted fugitives, I would turn them over to whomever wants them.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'd offer them an opportunity for being in Bellezza's condemned. But if they haven't done anything bad to our house, I'd otherwise let them go.
Okay. Remember that. And actually, I went ahead of myself here. I placed the expand land there, but it could be anywhere that doesn't have a marker. But I assume you're building it next to territory you already have.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure. So that is. Are you buying any more venture attempts?
I
That's
think
right.
that was all we wanted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just run the numbers again, if my math is correct. So in the bank currently for month 3, we have 12 wealth and 10 resources.
Right, which is maximum resources. But we converted 10 resources, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have enough money for one more venture. So you want to do your festival? Or shall we do a festival?
I think we can do a festival, and I think
Yeah.
that's your thing. Like I said, it fits with fluff and it fits, for
right.
you.
Scroll. There it is. That is communicate. Honestly, I only have a 5 in communicate. Somebody else got a better communicate?
I think communicate. I've got a 6.
There it is.
Communicate. I've got a 7.
Then you.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
set it up.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll set her up.
Where do you want to throw the festival?
On our moon, I think.
Where on your moon?
In the town, like right here. I think we can do like an art exhibit or actually an art competition.
What about the
You know?
capital?
Generally, I'd like to use these kind of festivals to maybe promote economic activity in places that are not the capital. The capital is obviously the most developed one. We're using the festivals to promote somewhere else,
That
It's
works
like,
for me.
hey, come to this town, go to an art competition, and while you're at it, buy a stick of fried butter.
What's the name?
Oh, it's Iowa.
What's the name of this town? Since you're taking such an interest in it.
This will be... The fair town of Moondust. All one word.
Whoops. Town of Moondust, which is an artisanal town. And they're glad to see the treasurer willing to fund willing to help build a festival here, an art competition. That sounds grand old time. How much resources do you guys have?
12 currently.
Yeah.
Oh, 10, sorry, 10.
So I will say that this will actually cost you 4 resources instead of the normal 2 because you've never done this festival. Kind of establishing a new Moondust art festival. But now that you've done it, if you want to do another Moondust art festival, it'll only cost 2 because you've established that's a thing that you've built in, you've sponsored it already.
Alright, written down as a cost of 4.
And I'll throw in 1 extra difficulty. Just out of sheer... This is a Mentat judging an art festival. So it's one of those, or helping organize it. You appreciate art, but
It's all
Art
logical.
isn't numbers.
All right. So run the numbers by me again. It should be a communicate roll. I could roll with justice here due to my statement.
Yeah, I would take that.
Art isn't numbers. Counterpoint, Bach.
Bah. Focus and charm for communicate.
Yeah. Look, you may be a
Uh,
Mentat, but you can be charming.
I'm a charming fella. I'll use all those 3
Yeah.
momentum to.
Just
do
ask
the
Lady
thing.
Seraphina.
Oh yeah, I'll ask her later. Don't worry about that. That's a good roll.
Generate 3 momentum right back out of the gate. And yeah, you have a nice. What kind of art are you trying to promote here at Moondust? Is it like sculptures? Is it like paintings?
I'd say this is paintings, and the way I imagined it is that this is a speed painting competition. Whoever can create the most beautiful piece in the shortest amount of time required, you're the winner. And you get to be hung in the hopefully future built museum in Moondust, but temporarily your painting will be held in the museum in the capital.
Ooh. So
No. It will be hung in the equivalent of the throne room.
In Moondust?
No, at the capital. So I mean,
Oh.
it's like.
Oh yes, you'll be face to face with the ruler. Hell yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Everybody who comes in for an audience.
Yeah, there you go.
So, what's your question about the state of the people or current enemy espionage activity? You learn stuff as you're helping set up the festival, judge it, and so on.
Well, let's talk about this before I ask anything, fellas. And lady, do we want to know about spies from House Carino, or do we want to know something else?
Honestly, it'd be worth asking what all factions are spying on us. I mean, who?
I'm sure the list is relatively long.
Well, but still, we have momentum, so can he ask further questions, or just the one?
For a momentum, I'll let you ask extra questions.
Yeah,
What-
I'd say like who all.
What all factions are spying on us?
There are. You want me to announce it aloud, or do you want me to send it to you in secret?
Just say it out loud. We're all friends here.
Wanted to make sure. I didn't want to assume. There is House Valorian, House Malvolus, Moritani, the Bene Gesserit, and the Bene Talaxu.
Ooh.
And the Bene Talaxu. Hell, we're a little out of their domain, aren't we?
Oh, and the Silvani tribes. There's an obvious one.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who cares that much about your
House Carino?
House Carino isn't looking at you.
Perfect.
Well.
Anyone else who could tell you? Well, the cult would be, but you've eliminated them. That's a none. The other major house, the Caswin. Other big player. Oh, I know who's looking. Call
The Fennekin. Oh fuck.
it. That raises more questions. And House Alexan.
Spell that so I can look it up later.
Like it sounds.
House
No.
Alexa.
See the spell. House Alexa.
It is like it sounds.
Reap as you sow. Industrious and pragmatic house. Primarily known for their wheat, gourds, and other traditional staple foods, farming machinery, and transportation of bulk foodstuffs.
Ah, they've learned we're getting into the farming trade.
Okay.
And
Curious information. Did you get all that, Inslee?
Yep.
All right.
Space and Guild wouldn't want to spy on you. I mean, they, for all technicality, the Spacing Guild, but that's not unusual because you do business with. I'll point out. Because I'll tell you for free that. I'll tell you for free that normally when guild agents are around with a business partner, they're making sure no one's messing with you. They might have other uses. That's the downside of having guild agents wandering on your planet. Every guild agent is essentially a spy, so there'd be no Mentat spies right now.
I am the Mentat spy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That is everybody I can think of that would be spying.
Ooh, all right. Momentum for extra question. Talk to me, Inslee. Or Marshall, one of you. Talk to me. Do we want to know how the people feel?
Probably.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. How do the people of our fair little moon fare?
You guys are doing a decent job. Everything's since changing hands. Erica the Third has been a just ruler. They're not terribly thrilled about these condemned, but then again, they've been showing that they're not just a bunch of ragtag conscript army. They're actually they've actually done well in the war. And besides, it wasn't their sons and daughters going off to die in a war. It was someone else's sons and daughters. So they're, in a sort of cold-hearted way, they're okay with this. Especially since they won. The war people are, some people, shall I say, the spiritually agnostic and the Will of Silvanus adherents, they like that you destroyed the cult, but there is a significant portion of the populace that is displeased with the cult being persecuted, and they feel that it is an overreach of the Valsgrafen's power to hunt down a religion, or not a religion, but it's not a sanctioned cult, but it's within the scope of what the Orange Catholic Bible would cover. The only thing that kind of softens that blow is that you have the Inquisitor General in your number, so there is some tacit approval by the cult of you, which is weird because the cult has been enemies of House Bellezza for such a long time, which means that some of your populace has been somewhat hostile to you because you're an enemy of the cult, and the cult, as far as they're concerned, are the saviors of Silvanus, or will be, or would have been if you hadn't blown up their headquarters. So on that other hand, those who are adherents to the will of Silvanus are not thrilled that there's an Inquisitor General in your court now. And that sounds like you're getting in bed with the cult, and you guys have been known to be rivals of theirs for a long time. So either, if we're being generous, you're just using resources at hand. Hopefully that's what you're doing. If not, you may be changing. Perhaps Erica the Third is a lot less tolerant of the tribes than she's been acting like.
Okay.
But I will temper all that with the idea that it's no one's shouting from atop a soapbox about it. It's more you hear it as you walk around and overhear conversations. You know, chit chats over coffee. It's that level of talk. People are upset, but they're not like tearing at their clothes upset.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
more or less threatening, depending on how you look at it, I suppose.
Anything else from the two?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if we can ask another one. Which of the factions spying on us is being the most active?
Consider that asked, GM.
Who's active?
Watch as it becomes the Bentley Loxu.
Right.
For some freaking reason.
It is.
Way to give the GM ideas, dude.
I'll be fair as well. They're in a close tie with House Valorian. That's why I was hesitating. I know Valorian's pretty involved, but if I just say Valorian, that misleads you. Genitalics are active on you, are very active on you. So it's kind of a tie between.
Weird.
Wait, Valorian
There
or
you go.
Conus? Sorry.
Yeah, there it
Okay.
is. It's not so bad.
Arconus wasn't in the list.
Yeah, that it should be Arconus, not Valorian. That was me mixing the two houses up.
Okay.
There are no Valorian spies. There are Arconus spies.
Interesting. Maybe he's upset we got a regiment in his guild.
Possibly.
Good to know.
I think that's all for the questions, unless Millie Moonshadow wants me to ask something else. I'll take silence as a no. Alright, fair is fair. That's it for the festival then.
Good.
Once the winner has been declared, we shall hang his picture close to Erica.
Or hers, you don't know.
Or hers, yes.
We shall hang the artist. Whoa!
Yeah, hang the artist right next to the Feldsgrafen.
All right. So, some end of month downtime, which include your personal adventures. But first, what resources do you have left?
6.
6. You get to keep it below the max number of resources of 10. Or that. Wealth. How much wealth do you have left?
12.
12. That is too little for thieves to bother stealing. Not rich enough for anyone to try to rob you. So, pull you all back. Capital of your moon. And you get a personal venture.
Alright.
Go first.
Suggest the Marshal goes first, maybe?
Okay. I will take a look at the options.
114.
Thank you. There we go, finally.
Oh, and while you're looking that up, I should note how the land grab went.
Please do, yes.
Should be on top.
Thanks.
Like everybody got a little bit.
I'll note that the tribes did not make any attempts to go into space.
Okay. I think I will use the personal venture, affirm allegiance,
Which
and
your target?
the Silvani tribes.
Oh. You basically would stay around after expanding the land and clearing some of the forests.
Yeah, I want to keep like our relationship as between the house and the Silvani is a positive one, but I want to strengthen it.
Mm-hmm. What sort of things do you do to affirm your allegiance with your tribal, the other Savini tribes?
I'd, for one, I would visit them and spend time socializing with them.
You go on like a little tour of the various tribes because you don't have to go to Silver Lindor to find people. You're from here, so you know how to find the other tribes.
Yeah. And you know, I'd bring small gifts to each tribe that I know each tribe has a hard time to get, like off-world type goods. Nothing super expensive though, just like something thoughtful.
Very good. I'll spend 2 threat to increase the difficulty by 1. When you go around, people are happy to see you. It does up the difficulty to 3, and that's you're starting to learn that there is a certain level of wariness for House Bellezza. There are some who like House Bellezza just fine and thought Erica III accounted for herself rather well at the Chiefs Conclave, but there are some who are displeased that she disrupted the Conclave. That perhaps there was a more subtle way to handle it. There's also some rumblings that perhaps Bellezza has designs to vassalize the tribes, take in a much the fashion that House Melvins had intended. It's only a little bit of difficulty. It's a increase of 1. Not everyone's that picked just mad about it because the chief doesn't seem to be mad about it. So,
all right, I will buy. I'll do this on with my drive of duty, and at the same time, I'm also gonna buy 2 extra dice with a combination of threat and momentum. So you can take 2 threat.
good.
And I don't think my communication focus applies here. I'm not successful. Yeah, well. You know, I think I'll spend my determination on that, actually. Using my trait of Silvani.
Wrong game. It's your statement that matters.
Right. Well, likewise, using my statement.
I will do what I must in service of my house and people. I think that applies here.
Yeah. And I'll just re-roll the 2 that were not successful. And yeah, sorry about mixing up the game systems.
No, it's okay. I knew what it was the minute you said that. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There we go. That's better. Nice.
So you gain a momentum out of it. You meet some resistance. Not so much among the Moon Shadows. You know, they get how the game is played out in the Imperium. But you know, you find ways to talk around certain people and maybe let certain people have their opinions and let someone else have a gift instead. That sort of thing. But yeah, you're able to. So you now have the Friend of Savani Tribes trait. Will exist until the next house management period. Or if you just straight up act against their interest. You are now a known friend of the tribes because you've recently gone around and said hi to everybody.
Yes.
You didn't really get a chance to do that during the conclave. There are some people who are just happy to see you. It's like, hey, we didn't even get to say hi to you last time, and you were there. Well, and it's more of a, well, I was at the, you could have just seen me. I was at the market. I was buying stuff. Like, that's probably what saves you in a couple tense moments is, hey, yeah, no, that's Mill. Mill bought some food for me the other day. Or they they bought that thing for my young nephew. I'm so happy you did that. So, what's the next personal venture?
Joanna?
Sure. I am going to attempt to develop a contact in the Mother Superior's, I don't know, entourage or inner circle.
Where do you try to make contact with them?
Maybe it's someone that I had developed a friendship with when we were about of an age and we're in Bene Gesserit training together. And I don't know, maybe it's someone that I'm kind of in communication with pretty regularly already. I don't know where one would go to develop a contact with the Reverend Mother's entourage.
Well, it would either be in the company of one of the main of the houses of Silvanus, which when I say that includes Agrestis, Salutaris, because you're all Silvanus houses.
Right.
If you want, and that's more like finding a sister who you know has a connection to Mother Superior, and that person may be housing the Mother Superior at the moment. Or you just go to the Palace Silvanus and find the second senior most person other than yourself.
Well, now I'm talking about like the mother. Okay, maybe I'm confused about the structure of the sisterhood. So like over the entire sisterhood, there's the Mother Superior, right?
Right.
Okay. So I'm trying to get a contact in her entourage.
Right.
Okay, so I guess I'm not understanding how she would be in the Silvanus system necessarily.
You know that there's the rumor that she's coming here anyway.
Right.
That may be what you've heard the rumor, you're trying to find out how true it is. Because there's certain places she would bother going. You know she wouldn't go to the Savannah tribe. She wouldn't go to Silphus or Lindor. That's just not happening. But she could be in the company of one of the houses here. Or if you really think that rumor's complete baloney, you would go all the way back to
Kaitan or something.
Not Kaitan. It's the where the Bene Gesserit train. I forget where it is at the.
Please let the series be good enough that Modiphius does a splat book on the Bene Gesserit. That's all I want out of the HBO Bene Gesserit series. Although it looks really good.
Warlock 9. There we go. Jeez, my brain was not connected.
Yeah. So would I mean, if she's on planet or something, then yeah, I'll just catch up with my old buddy within her entourage wherever she is. I would think that she would stop by Palace Silvanus because that's the steward's location, I would think. But I would think she would probably at some point also wind up at whatever the capital of Agrestis is, because the Bene Gesserit was kind of backing their plans, kind of focused around Malvolus.
The Ironwood Garrison is the capital. But there's also major cathedrals at the Sanctum Arbor and the Celestial Grove.
Okay. where. But yeah, I think I would try to catch up with her on Malvolus, actually, or Agrestis.
In which settlement?
Any idea which is most likely?
It would depend how much you think they are at the ear of Malvolus, or how much they're kind of trying to operate under his nose. If they're operating under his nose, they're in one of the cathedrals. If they are operating with him or through him, then they'll be at the garrison. Depends how secretive you think they're being about this, or how closely tied they are to Malvolus now.
Right. Let me read those notes that you sent me. There it is.
Dark and dreary streets of Agrestis and its closed, controlled environment. So they didn't bother terraforming their moon.
I would say she would probably be at one of the cathedrals, because her first move would be to kind of suss the current situation out before deciding whether or not to, approach Duke Malvolus directly. So I would say she's probably at one of the cathedrals. That's probably the most neutralish place in the system for her to visit.
And would she be in the Sanctum Arbor, which is a little more isolated, a little tucked away on the moon, or Celestial Grove, which is a lot closer to ships landing and taking off to the orbitals?
I would
Both
say
of them,
so.
and I will say both of them have, as much as they have a cathedral, they're both logician. They're both artillery building towns.
Right. I don't know, I'd say Celestial Grove, just because it is probably slightly easier to keep in touch with what's going on everywhere through the communications and space facilities.
I'm not adding to difficulty. Develop contact, difficulty of 2, communicate.
Okie dokie. Communicate truth.
I'll take that, as you are trying to find out. There are some like novices here, that sort of thing. It's like, it's a church. Of course, the Bene Gesserit are here, but who?
Right.
Is the Mother Superior or one of her entourage actually here?
Fair enough. Neurolinguistics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would other memory kick in here?
Yes, because the previous the previous Reverend Mother would have other memory of being here.
So is this to create the contact, or just to find out if they're there?
You're developing the contact. The narrative is that it's not so much you know who it is, it's I'm trying to find that person, and once you find them, it's like, I've got you, let's talk. It's like, okay, you found me, Reverend Mother, what do you want?
Okay, with 3 hits, then I'm going to just roll. I'll give you a momentum for a 3rd die and roll 3 as well. Not a comp, so that's a total of 5 hits.
If it's on 2, you generate 3. People make great shows of obedience here. The sisterhood here has far more. It's a very militant church. You see people in uniform coming and going. You aren't stopped, but people are checked for their appropriate identification. Are you allowed to be here? Sort of thing. There's this air of tension around you, even you. Like a Reverend Mother usually can be a sign of that something good's going to happen or something great's going to happen, or if something else, if nothing else, at least this place probably not in danger, because remember, mothers don't generally go into danger. But here, people are watching you carefully. But after a few careful words, you're able to eventually pry out that there is, in fact, a member of the Mother Superior's entourage here. Is using this place to kind of screen their presence. You are free to name them, and you now know what planet they're on. Agrestis.
Okay.
Specifically out of the Celestial Grove, because that's what they're based out of. They're hiding here.
Okay. Add that to my assets list. This is. I'll work on a name.
And basically, if you rolled too low, it would have been like you would have asked around, and then she would have just not trusted you, and then never would have found them. Just would have moved on somewhere else.
Right. I guess entourage is the best word. It's not really a court or a inner circle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Go. Nope, cat, there's a bed for you right there. You go there, not my keyboard.
But the keyboard has like free massage buttons. Awesome.
Yes, it does.
No, Cat, you go wherever you want.
Oh, so the keyboard gets some attention.
True.
Is that a quality 0 or what? Last time I did it through this, I got a quality 1 contact. Or do I spend? I don't remember.
I would say quality 1.
Okay.
She's just a sister of her entourage, so she's above the average sister.
Right. Ow. Keywords.
Bene Gesserit. Mother Superior entourage, or entourage, I suppose. And hidden.
Okay. Got it. And since I'm already on Agrestis, I've been wanting to do this for a bit anyway. I think I will try and arrange to visit with Duke Corvin.
Perhaps that shall come to pass.
Yeah.
Our new reasonable thing. Since you did come by.
Yeah. Well, I need to drop in on all of the rulers since I'm the Reverend Mother.
Yeah, the last time I saw you was 2 months ago at the coronation. Yeah, sorry, the installation of the steward, better way to put it.
All right. Well, I've seen Arconus more recently, but at the conclave.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. So, finally, we look to the treasurer.
Well,
Yeah, too.
I have to maintain relations with my dear old lover.
Not old.
My dear young lover. I don't know, that just sounds off.
That doesn't
Lady
sound much better, does it?
Lady Seraphina needs some attention, so I'll give her some attention.
A romantic connection.
Yes.
Um.
We're working towards eventual consortship, maybe. We'll see.
That's not going to complicate the political situation at all.
Yeah, of course not.
Actually, is that it? Are you pursuing a romantic connection, or are you already pushing for to?
No, I'm pursuing a romantic connection. I'm not bold enough to ask her to marry me yet. Or stupid enough, really.
So do you take her up on the offer she gave you before to meet her in the gardens of the Palace of Silvanus, or do you try to meet her somewhere else?
Meet her in the gardens of the Palace of Silvanus. I am too cowardly to ask her to marry me, but I ain't no bitch.
Once again, you're in the presence of the grand towering spires. You are. It's a lot less. I mean, it's busy. There are people here, but it's not nearly as overwhelming as when there was the installation. Just by sheer fact, there's not people don't need to be here for any particular reason, and people who aren't supposed to be here shouldn't freaking be here. Go away. These nice guards with the rifles will make you leave. Thankfully, you do have an invitation by the air consort to tour the garden with her. And it's going to be a communicate roll. I'm going to up it by 2.
Of course, that's an AP, right?
It is, actually. I've actually spent enough AP threat to trigger it. So it's difficulty 5 communicate test. As part of it is trying to charm her and talk to her about things and enjoy your time, but also there is that definite specter that your every movement surely is being watched. Whether it's Valorian, Arconis, or whoever else is watching the Palace Silvanus. You do the wrong thing, say the wrong thing, you are certain it's going to be repeated in Kaitan, or at Akaz, or possibly Erica the Third. So, but maybe despite all that, you'll be able to have a good time anyway. Make sure your lovely companion has a good time.
Alright. Drive statement for justice. I wanna see if I can use that.
You're all equals in the auspices of the Emperor. I'll take that. You're kind of letting it slide off your back. Like, yes, I know everyone's watching me. I'm not going to let our status scare me, because most people are scared of a noble paying this much attention to a non-noble.
Right. So can I spend a determination?
You certainly can.
We'll do that for 2 automatic successes, right?
Yep.
Alright. Brings me down to 1 determination. Because I had 2 for some reason. Do you know why I had 2? Am I supposed to have 2?
Not at the start of a new session. I think you got 2 because I made you do
Oh, you made me take a...
You offered
take a
him
statement.
something, yeah.
I offered to comply. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
New session, you don't have 1.
Wah wah. Alright. Burn 3 momentum and an additional however many threat for maximum dice.
So 2 and 3. Yep. You threat to me in all 3 moments.
Focus in charm.
Mm-hmm. I have to ignore that last die because you could only roll 4 dice.
Oh no. Well, I gained. I did it. I succeeded, right?
2, 3, 4, and 5. Just.
And I'll quash that comp right away.
Give me 2 threat.
Yeah.
It was quite a near thing. Green. That war and all. I'm glad it paid off for you.
And I'm glad that you are safe, most of all. Seeing you wounded like that was not what I had imagined when I asked you to walk with me that day.
We are a planet as old as the Imperium. Though we're not randy houses such as Akaz, assassinry and brigandry are just as rampant. They just take different forms here. Especially with such ambition being let loose.
In any case, I hope that in the future, such events could be avoided. Or if such events could not be avoided, I should be able to at least protect you. at the very least.
Doubt in the coming year, in the coming months, we will see much peace. You, a treasurer, I, an heir consort. These are not things or people that history forgets. We are pawns and architects in a much grander thing. It is all to us to ensure that we thrive, despite it all. Lest we be used. I am not one to be used.
Well, I hope that should the future prove perilous, and should we thrive, that we will at least be able to thrive together.
Oh, by the way, Theron says hello. He was thinking of coming with us, but I kind of suggested to him that perhaps that be a little too much at once. You've admittedly accounted for yourself rather well. I think a lesser man may have been intimidated by all the guards lurking in the shadows.
Well, a challenge offered is a challenge rarely refused. Like I said, your guards, formidable as they are, cannot stop me from seeing you. Yet. Yet. And yeah, let's enjoy our day together.
Many eyes watch you, many people record what you say and what you do, but at the end of it all, you have a good time anyway. You're not even trying to assassinate her or nothing. You're just trying to romance the lady. So it's like, you sure he's not like, did he put something in her pocket? No. Poison her? No. Pointed a gun at her? No. He's just talking about numbers. Is that a code? No, he really likes numbers. He's a mentat. He's a treasurer. They talk about that sort of thing. Oh. This is the most boring job of watching two people flirt that I've ever had.
Yeah, well, up yours, guards.
Yeah.
Is that all for ventures?
That
Or
is...
could I try to do something else while I'm here?
What are you thinking?
I'd like to, with my personal wealth, purchase some spice.
Oh, you do have a I will let you exchange your wealth asset for a spice asset.
Yes, please.
You are at the Palace of Silvanus. It's like after your date, you're like, well, I could just head over to the Chome Market and just buy some. I have a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like, oh dear, let's make a date of it. Would you care to purchase spice and then perhaps consume it with me while we're there?
She will go with you, but she will not partake.
I do not wish to consume it either. I heard it's very dangerous. No, I shall just purchase, and I'd like to have them...
anyway.
I should like to have them delivered to the moon. How much spice could I buy for 10 wealth?
You can buy your wealth asset turns into a spice asset.
Oh, okay, so I'll just swap it around. Okay.
And wealth? What are you talking about?
Sorry, 5 wealth. Sorry.
Trying to embezzle, are you?
A little bit. Keyword? Spice, clearly.
Spice.
Melange.
Just repeating yourself.
It's not liquid, that's for sure.
Let me look. Oh. Rare. Yes, second. The rarest thing. So Actually, yeah, one word would be the melange, because it's not just any spice, it's the spice melange. So melange, rare,
And spice.
Arrakis.
And Arrakis. Okay.
Because it does matter where it is from, and currently there's only one place it should come from. It shouldn't come from anywhere else.
Oh yeah, the famous spice of Gay Prime. God.
Oh. Winchester, you there?
Yeah.
Hmm?
For like 30 minutes.
hello.
We're just getting down to personal ventures. People might want to brief you on what they did for house ventures.
Maybe. I mean, I may be here for 30 minutes. I may be here for an hour. I don't know. So.
You have 2 wealth. You got paid.
But why would I want to do that?
Everybody got paid. In absentia, it was decided that everyone got paid.
For house ventures, we rolled an opportunity this go round, which was turned out to be a land rush. In this case, it was the Space Guild had discovered a new stable orbital pathway or orbital path. So there was basically space-based hexes that can be developed. So we did a resource into wealth to allow us to buy an extra venture. So we developed one of the newly available space hexes into an industrial, kind of growing our space industry. And then we used another construction venture to clear land in preparation for expanding the farms next time. Maybe making this hex dedicated to sap production instead of basic food. And then we through a festival, in which we learned that not only are the usual suspects spying on us, being Arconus, Malvolus, Moritani, the Bene Gesserit, the tribes, but also the Bene Tiliaxu and House Alexan are spying on us, with Arconus and the Bene Tiliaxu being the most active spies coming up for us. We also learned because of the festival that the people are generally happy with us, but there is some disapproval of what is called the quote-unquote persecution of the cult of the Redeemer, that it may have been a bit out of pocket to go after a religious group that was, within the bounds of what the Orange Catholic Bible allowed. But since the conscription of the Inquisitor General, that kind of mitigates that feeling. The flip side is the people who are kind of like the Will of Silvanus side of things are a little bit upset. They're very pleased with the war against the Redeemer Inquisition, but not so happy with the Inquisitor General joining our ranks. So there's some question of whether it's just Erica's using the resources to hand, or if maybe House Bellezza is not quite as friendly to the tribes as had been thought. But all of that is not at the people on soapbox level. It's just sort of, overheard in conversations in coffee houses kind of level. Yeah, I think that's... Oh, and we got a CHOAM agreement, which will get us plus 10 wealth next house management session. Blah, blah.
And you got paid.
Yep.
And everything else is status quo. So your military is the same. Your people are the same. So all that's paid for.
And we all got paid.
Someone even bought up a bunch of spice recently.
Yeah.
Someone.
I'm just going to buy a bunch of spies.
I get it.
Buy.
So a question I have for all of you, really, In the coming month, what are you guys going to be focusing on the most? Because you know what's going on, what rumors are out there. So hoping to tackle.
Oh, maybe Winchester, Erica gets to roll a personal venture.
Mm.
And you can probably get away with one. Quickie.
No, thank you.
A quickie personal venture, you friggin'.
Only if you ask nicely.
I'll leave that to the treasure. Oh, well, here's the problem. I don't have the Dune books on this PC.
If you check our personal chat, I think I gave you the Google Drive. They should be in there.
Has anything been done regarding the false graph?
No.
Not our business, not our monkey.
Yeah, it's all been the house management stuff today. We haven't done any role play and all that kind of stuff.
Hey.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's been Excel spreadsheets all day.
I see how. Could address that as a personal venture, because it doesn't have to be what's documented. I can use those as a basis for things.
I mean, I guess the first question is he still alive? Because he, went down sick or something.
Did he? I thought you just like
I used the voice on him and he collapsed after he gave me the thingamabob.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that as a personal venture. Look into it and deal with it and all that. To a degree, the false graffin is not going to usurp Millie's position as prosecutor, or at least the person responsible with bringing charges. I'll do judge and executioner. I just want do jury. Well, actually, I will do judge, jury, and executioner. I just won't do sheriff.
So in what way are you looking into the guy? Looking into a situation?
It's a good question. I don't think I can do anything until I don't think I can do anything until Millie has had a chance to look into it themselves.
So some ideas. You could. I'm just reading off from the book, just the titles. You can affirm allegiance to an allied house or faction. You do some combat training with a weapon. Craft an item. Create a composition, like an artistic work. Develop a contact somewhere. Heal a complication if you had some injury or lingering complication I have on you. This is where you get rid of it. Skill training, which will give you a bonus to a particular skill. Monitor your enemies, so specifically making a point to spy on an enemy house or faction. A romantic connection if you're looking for a replacement. Or build.
I can't look for a replacement because there's not an availability yet.
Well, you kind of prep the runway, right?
Well, the runway's. I feel like the runway's prepped. It's just.
Seek house favor, so prove your worth, dedication, loyalty to a house, whether that's a Kaz or Valorian, or Carino, I suppose, because they're the people who outrank you. Or training subordinates, which allows you to increase a human asset's quality by.
I actually have an open slot for an asset. So, contrary to Game Master expectations, I probably will actually have a sword crafted.
Ooh.
Also, because depending on what the marshal decides, I may have a use for a sword.
All right. Are you making a sword? Or are you making some other weapon?
Yeah, I think we covered that there isn't really a bladed weapon that is synonymous with the tribes. It's not really their thing.
They're more spears and arrows, clubs, but like higher tech versions of those things. But they're not a sword using culturally.
But even among those other weapons, right, they don't have like some rite of passage, crysknife type thing. Tons of people use better spears and bows, but don't like have it as a foundation of cultural identity, that there's like a special spear that's named something different that has, cultural significance. It's just like a weapon they use.
There would be a certain type of weapon. It would be a I have an idea. It's not a crysknife. Kind of in the already. Yeah. I didn't know. So it would be. I'm trying to think of the tribe name now. Well, one of the tribes does have. It's not a moonshadow weapon. It's a weapon that a different tribe uses within the Silvanus tribes. Of the big one. That basically
the stone guys seems like they would have some sort of weapon. Stone cutters or whatever they're called.
Yeah. So they would basically have a special type of thing that's basically crafted out of a very specific, a hardened, like sort of Savannah sap resin sort of creation that's reinforced with certain deepest deep wood that makes for that shows that person is deeply connected to the will of Silvanus and is will wield his the will of Silvanus' weapon against its enemies. I think moonshadows are known for because it's a very obvious declaration of thing, but the certain tribes are very big on having that good symbolic thing, but it's also surprisingly durable for something that's made of resin and it's.
What about establishing an existing tradition to say that since the house values beauty and art, when someone from the nobility within the family wants a sword crafted, right? Because most of the nobility on this planet and on other planets use bladed weapons, that you like sit with a I don't know if it's a smith, because these are more high-tech weapons, but right, a craftsman,
An armorer.
Yeah, and you engage in some form of art to inspire them, and then they take that inspiration to make the weapon. Like some poem or some painting or some music or something.
I can see that being a Salutaris tradition. That's like a cool thing. You get that, especially since you guys are very industrious and beauty-oriented house. I could really see that.
So I'll do that if that makes sense.
Sure. I will say making something brand new. You're making a sword. It's just a really cool word. So I will call this Understand Difficulty 2.
think, are you for justice? Because it is meant more as an implement of justice than of like power.
And you're personally making sure your marshal's getting this cool, or you're having a cool weapon, or you're handing it to you. It's establishing your authority in a very Salutarian way. I can see it. I can see justice.
I focus in advanced technology.
What's advanced about this sword? You can't make it more advanced. If you're using that focus, we'd have to figure out why it's advanced.
We have no prohibitions against pulse swords here because we don't have the fear that they have on Arrakis, right?
Right.
So it'd be that, right? But it's not just a bladed weapon. It also
pulse sword. Salutarian pulse sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. No, I'll take
that. Might feel a little cheeky to use determination, thinking that I might only be here another 10 minutes. I don't know, but
hey,
I guess
it's your own personal venture.
I
am the law must be fairer or be broken as a statement, though.
Yeah, that's why I suggested justice, right? It's not a blade to be used to initiate fights. It is not a battlefield weapon. It is a weapon of, Conley, of dueling, of sanctioned violence.
So more like a dueling pulse sword sort of idea. It's and more that it speaks to its purpose than its lethality. It's a badge of office.
Yeah, I mean it might have some blade length or guard or handle might be not what one would make for a weapon of war, but what one would make to gain advantage in a duel.
Okay.
But not like flouting any laws of kindly, not making something that would be seen as like cheating.
Yes,
dishonorable.
Yeah. No, I follow that. Good
Oh,
going.
hey, that's if you only know you're going to roll once, that's the way to do it.
So you can either have it be a quality 0 asset and get a bunch of momentum, or you can only get 2 momentum and it is a quality 1 blade. Because when you're making an item, you can choose, if you really hit it, you can use some of those extra successes to make it even a better item than it. Unless it's like a prototype, you're doing something very high tech, then it's a prototype and it can only be a quality 0 anyway. You're making a pulse sword, that's known tech, so low difficulty. Low. It's a normal difficulty to make this.
So what that's going to be like keywords of like sword, dueling, and art, or
Art or Salutaris, perhaps. Like it's unique to your moon, where this is made. Much as the Chris knife is, one of its keywords is Arrakis. Because perhaps it's one of those. Because it could be art. Because I can see art or Salutaris impressing other Salutarians. It's like, oh, that's not just any old dueling sword. That's something that we would like here. That's a very pretty sword. Even if you never turn the thing on, it's an art piece on your hip. Yeah, how does this sword look like? What is its artistic bend that you have put into it?
um, I think the well, I think what Erica does is spend the time with the craftsman, writing and reciting verses about uh, a lament but acceptance of violence as a method of justice. Wishing that it didn't have to be that way, but positing that, you know, it is the way things are, and that it's not avoidable. And I imagine that it is actually pretty utilitarian, rather than the rather than beauty and like adornment, right? Its purpose is pretty solemn, so its appearance is equally as solemn.
Okay. Like, yes, I'm a pulse sword, but I'm not celebrating that I might be drawn. I'm just here. And obviously not cheating. Like, I almost imagine that level of utilitarianism means that when even on glancing at the blade at the weapon, it's like this obviously doesn't have any hidden things to it. It's almost trying to make sure you know that. Honest pulse sword. Put it that way. Good. That's gonna be on your hip, Falsgrafen?
Yes.
Then I circle back since that is all the personal ventures. What is the next big target or next big thing you want to work on in next month?
On an individual level or on a group level?
On a house level.
Okay, well, suggestion from me. All these claims about spice and whatever's going on in Arrakis worry me ever so slightly. I think maybe we should try and do something about this situation, or if anything, secure ourselves so if the market goes, to put myself very rudely, tits up, that we at least are safe.
I mean, I feel like we are doing that because that's why we're doing all this farming. Is that if there's a problem with spice or House Carino, we have self-sufficiency.
I think we're still a bit far from that. but it might not be a bad idea to start beating the market at its own game. But that's just my suggestion. If you got something else, by all means.
You mean buying up lots of spice?
Green.
That and finding out who the hell is manipulating the market or what is manipulating the market.
Just a reminder, don't forget to update the ledger, and our monthly resources are 19 instead of 16.
Yeah.
Oh. Right on. Fixing that.
If I had to suggest, it would be, it doesn't actually look like our house is cleaned up yet. It looks like we've gotten rid of one of the symptoms with the cult, but that the false graph points towards a disease, and we should look into that.
Well, yeah, we need to find out if he was just a cultist or if there's something deeper going on. The fact that the Beni Tiliaxu are active in spying on us is interesting.
Could mean that he's not actually the false graph. He's a
That's
face
true.
fixer.
And I also want to, one of the things on Joanna's list is to find out who Malvolus's new patron is, because we think we know that they are no longer a client of House Akaz, so I think it's important to find out who they are a client of. So yeah, for Joanna, it's Tuesday. It's spy stuff. but yeah, it's time to look a little bit more into Corvin and Malvolus and find out what's going on there and the Teliaxu. And whatever else Joanna wants me to get into. And of course, manifesting us as the fourth house.
You are Joanna.
Oh yes, so I am. But also whatever else Erica wants to get into.
That was the previous Reverend Sister speaking. Reverend Mother, rather.
Yeah.
Any thoughts from our Marshal?
I think the other suggestions are good for the focus.
Oh, Winchester, you're the house leader, so I think you get the final say.
True.
Y'all keep making me do this.
Hey, you chose ruler. Could have been just a humble envoy. You wouldn't have to worry about any of this nonsense.
Yeah, I think you're right that the Falls Crop is where we start, but
Yeah, but for Erica, that's a extreme personal issue that is ever present.
oh yeah.
It might not be so in everyone's mind, but if you force me to choose, I choose that.
So a grand investigation into the false graph. What is good?
Now we got to figure out what to do with him vis-a-vis his house and the Landsrad.
I mean, it really depends on what he gets charged with.
Yeah.
Because if he gets charged with, yeah, Erica's justice is too high to give him any special consideration. So.
But also, you're not arbitrary. It's not like, I just want to kill him. It's like, well, hold on. What is he actually guilty of?
Yeah, whatever he's guilty of is what he's getting charged with. And if it's lenient enough, if it's light enough, then maybe there's some consideration with his house that could be
Right.
reached.
Well,
But
like I
if
said,
it,
at this
but if
point,
it's
we don't even know
extreme,
what his medical condition is. So.
Very good. So this is what, the second month we just got through. So 10 more of these as you move your way through the year, through a year of rule. So far, you guys are doing okay. I think you have problems, but you guys are dealing with them as they come up, and you're trying to forecast a little bit, trying to build for the future. And I don't think you've gained, as yet, you haven't gained any new powerful enemies. Technically, at the moment, you still have the enemy of House, of the
Mortani?
cult.
Oh.
No, you're not. Mortani's not your enemy quite yet. But they may. One of two things will happen to you. You'll either gain a new minor enemy, because it probably won't stay the cult for very long, because they as a house still exist in the sense that their leadership is still alive. There's still architects out there, but they're architects with no army, with no base, and they have like personal assets and intrigue assets. It's like, oh, by the way, you lost one of your architects while you're at it. It's like, they're not in a great position to keep fighting you. They're just trying not to die right now. So they're not. They can't bother, and they don't dare attack you because they don't have the assets to survive that. If you bother looking, because they were trying to leave and you kept them from leaving, so now they can't use their resources elsewhere to build up strength and come back. So you might get a new enemy, or you may get one new enemy, and you may get. Once you advance in house status, you may even get even more enemies now. But currently, I think that's it. That's everything. Because we covered everything in the house, and all the stuff that happens with the investigation into the false graph. That's a whole session to dig into. That sounds like an espionage to me, of investigating him and then discussing what you want to do with them. I'll probably start the next episode as well with each of you where you were last, and then saying, okay, well, now that you've done that, you know, one last little touch up, then, you know, like saying hello to the Duke Malvolus, saying your goodbyes, being at the Chome Market, that sort of thing. So the last edge of your personal venture, and then we go to you all meeting together to figure out what precisely you're going to do about the false graph, other than just put him out into space.
Sounds good. Oh, and Winchester, we didn't do anything with the base in Agrestis orbit. We did find out though that it is a military base, but we didn't develop it. That's just sort of the Redeemer Inquisition had taken the orbital and done the military base construction venture on it, basically.
all right.
And that, everyone, is that. For all of you watching, thank you very much for watching. Those of you playing, very much for playing. And we'll see what terrible things House Bellezza gets into in the coming session. You'll have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Wise guest appearance by the head of the house. You're gonna do something about this, that, or the other? I'm gonna get a cool sword. I mean, cool swords are cool.
Just felt like it might be relevant very shortly.
Foreshadowing.
Got
Hey,
that
House
execution
Stark.
mood on.
Well, no, because we right when we did this the first time, it was established that, you know, anyone like accused of a capital crime has the right to self-defense, right?